So one demonstration of these, in the next slide, is two students that just graduated from the University of Colorado, which I believe we do have one here.
I encourage you to donate.
Yeah, and please follow our link here to donate to our former student. They're working on a project where they want to go to Southeast Asia and do an investigative report on this cat that actually fishes for its food, right? It goes the one place where cats are supposed to hate the most, the water, and they fish for their food. And you have interest from National Geographic, correct?
Yeah, letter of interest.
Yeah, a letter of interest from them, and now they're reaching out online and trying to recruit donations because you need 7,500 donations from the community before you can get funded. This has already received almost $2,500, and hopefully with the exposure from this presentation we can get her over the line and send her to Southeast Asia. But this is one of the ways that we can do it. If you look through on the actual website, you'll see that Kickstarter actually requires you to provide value back to your contributors. So similar to an NPR news membership model where for a $30 donation you might get a coffee mug, for a $25 donation to the Cat in the Water research project, you will also get something back. I don't know exactly what the incentives are that they've laid out, but there's a system of if you're this big of a funder, you will get this note back thanking you for your contribution. If you're a bigger funder, you'll get a video back thanking you for your contribution. And it's incentivized to giving, and it's very interesting new approach. Another site that's doing this is, go ahead Steve, Spot.us is basically the Kickstarter for journalism. They took $700 when they first started out, Oakland Local did, and through using Spot.us and some strategic investments, they've generated almost $8,000 worth of funding. They brought in $7,000 of community support, and now they have $8,000 to fund projects with. And here's another one of their demonstrations. Oakland Local wanted to go to Burning Man and talk about what was going on there. They raised the money and they sent their reporters out there to do the reporting. Yeah, Kevin?
And also just for the record, Spot.us is a member
And
of
yes, INN is Spot.us is part of INN. So you can follow the link and see what Oakland Local, who's not a member of INN but very similar to the members, what they're doing with it. And you can see some of the different stories that they've worked with. Also, Spot.us offers the content through a Creative Commons license. So if we all gave $10 to the project and I went out and did my reporting, the project would be registered under the Creative Commons license and everyone would have access to it. Now, if one of you got excited about this and said, I really want to see this happen, and you contributed over 51% of it, you could actually gain the rights to this. So they have an interesting rights policy within the Spot.us formulation. Most interesting about this, you can contribute without opening your wallet. Spot.us has taken the advertiser support, and rather than just throwing a big ad up there on the side and making you look at it and moving on, they create surveys. So you as a user that wants to contribute can go in, you fill out a 5-question survey, and now they give you $5. And instead of you giving your own $5 to a project you want to support, you're giving $5 of Hewlett Packard as one of their main funders. I think this is a great model to encourage people to start contributing. I know I have $15 sitting in my account that I can give, and that starts me out on the process of getting involved and contributing to projects. Everybody can get $15 to give to a project just for signing up, just for taking 10 minutes of your time. And I think that's a very, very interesting way to start generating some more money towards individual reporters. Go ahead, Steve. So looking at advertising really briefly, one of the interesting examples I found was the New Haven Independent has taken an old concept of the bulletin board and they've tried to reproduce it in visual format on a digital screen and produce their flyer board. And if you follow their site, you can click on these different advertisements and it'll bring up a full glossy version of the flyer, which I think that's a brilliant use of being able to use the digital content, reproduce the advertisement in its best presentation as possible and make it as compelling as it can be. Obviously, the New Haven Independent still has some work in developing and selling this product, and it seems like advertisers might be slightly wary given that we have zinc, and zinc. So, it needs a few more. Go ahead, Steve. Partnerships seem to be more important than ever. It seems like universities, to me, have been an incredible source of high-quality journalism. I know Laura's worked with the Rocky Mountain INN and the School of Journalism. Some of my friends have worked with her on research projects. I spent a lot of time talking with Steve Barry about the Iowa Watch, and how he said there was nothing better for improving the performance in his classroom and the quality of journalism than shifting it from you're writing a story for a grade to you're writing a story to have it published in a real publication. He said that it's just tremendously improved the journalism work that's been produced in the classroom, and if you go to iowawatch.org, you'll see they've produced a lot of high-quality investigative reporting. At the same time, in addition to partnering with the University of Iowa, they're also partnering with small papers across the state. There's journalists working with, from one, maybe say it's the Boulder Daily Camera, working with the INN network directly, rather than we'll produce the report over here, then you can take from it what you want and produce your report. I think this is a huge outlet, a huge opportunity to combine resources and combine areas of expertise, and at the same time provide that local feel to the story. Go ahead, Steve. Repost Us. I was really curious about this, in that it facilitates, like I said, it facilitates the contract negotiations. It skips all the legal work. It skips the hassle, and it tries to automate the practice or the process of what happens when you've published and now it wants to be syndicated. So I think this could be a huge asset, especially for breaking news and stories that are timely, stories that 2 days later may not have nearly as much value as they had the day they came out.
Can you just, it does sound intriguing, but I don't quite, I mean, like, what do they do? Who do they syndicate? Who are their partners? Where would it get syndicated
Just
to?
about everybody can sign up. It's a brand new site. They have a few people already signed up, so just about anybody can log into Repost Us on either end and say, I would like to offer my content. You set your value on per article, per story, per video. You can set the value, and then people can look at the price that you've set on that, and they can say, yes, I'll pay $10, I'll pay $100.
Who are those people on the other side, I guess is what I'm wondering, who are going to buy it? Who are the?
Can I jump into this?
Yes,
We actually
go ahead.
just spent an hour with them on the phone this week. We're looking at
And yeah, it's not been tested. It's 3 days old.
Is there a downside to giving away your property in terms of the licensing? I heard you say if enough people take it that suddenly you lose control of it?
That was spot.us, and that's how many people are contributing. And yeah, like I said, on spot.us, as the contributor, once you eclipse the 51% mark, at that point then you can apply for rights to the story. I'm not certain how repost.us will have it organized exactly, but I believe they plan on letting you, the author, retain the rights, and that the other people that are posting it solely have the syndication rights. Did you have a question, Paul, or you just highlight it? Okay.
I have one more, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
Do you know whether an outfit like Repost.us, and maybe Kevin, you know better, are not only syndicating to other websites, but potentially to, like, one place that I've always thought would be a market for what we do would be sort of small, mid-sized dailies in other parts of Colorado, since we're Colorado focused. Would they also be possibly working with, solely print publications that don't even have an online
See,
presence?
my understanding is, and again, I'll clarify this, is that they're an engine. So actually, the sales aspect of it, essentially, reach out, has to be done by you,
Okay.
the publisher. If someone discovers the content on your site, or if you have a syndication tool and the Repost Us tag goes along with it, it's at the point of discovery that someone can then make that licensing decision. So it doesn't handle the outreach.
The outreach, but it could handle the engine piece.
It is the engine.
So if
Yeah.
you guys want, hey, if we have our stories here, if you're interested in these stories, you can go there and buy them from there.
Right.
First.
So conceivably, from the INN side, we could potentially have Repost Us against all the stories, and then people can come to us as almost like, oh, I like that story, and then the revenue goes back down to the individual.
So they could grab them if it's some weekly newspaper out in a small town somewhere in Colorado.
And you get remunerated.
Yep. Yeah, and it's certainly geared towards digital production. One of their biggest selling points is that they will hold this orientation, or they'll hold this content and they'll push it into this new publication's formatting and make sure that the content stays the same. So they're certainly focused on a digital production, but if you can move from one blog's format to the next newspaper's format, I see no reason why you couldn't move that into print. The new services, like I said, Laura's going to talk a lot more. I'll highlight a few of them. Community trainings have been a very popular idea across a lot of different INN networks, whether that's getting students involved at the university level or the high school level, whether it's getting any community member empowered. There's a lot of ability there to not just help community members be able to find their own information, but also generate new sources for that finding the information. I noticed on a lot of INN sites, it wasn't news stories, but databases that were available. And some databases are just huge. I do not have the time or ability to go through all the census data, but thousands of people combined can pour through that data quite quickly. And by empowering those people, by showing more people how to look for that data, how to go and find the information you're looking for, it's going to improve the abilities of INN networks and journalism across the board.
So that would kind of come into the category of cost savings in terms of...
It would certainly be a cost saving. It'd be a new avenue for generating content and certainly for, pouring through numbers. The hyper-local targeting I thought was done really well. I have an example over here from the Notebook. It's a Philadelphia-based service that targets especially to schools. It talks about everything going on with your local school. And it's not just what the school board decided. It's not the big political issues. It's the daily minutia, and it helps you stay informed of exactly what's going on in your son and daughter's classroom. And I thought they did a beautiful job of generating content for parents, for students, for teachers, and making sure everybody knew exactly what was going on locally. Go ahead, Steve. The other thing I thought was being well done by an investigative news network that wasn't an INN member was San Francisco-based Citizen has this poster available for purchase, which it's your standard NPR offer of send us $50, we'll send you a nice poster. But I thought this poster was a very uniquely different and well thought out idea because it commemorates the San Francisco Giants World Series win, which I wasn't too happy about. But I'm sure their local readers love that. And this poster cannot be obtained anywhere else. I tried to get you a bigger view of the poster to see here, but they were wise in not offering a bigger image of it because obviously you can pull that and produce your own poster. And it creates a unique representation of the brand. It creates a unique way to demonstrate, look, I love my Giants and I love my local newspaper, and it's a good keepsake that will stay on the wall and demonstrate that there are support out there. Go ahead, Steve.